Well, we're joined now on the sofa by technology and AI specialist Dan Södergren. Good morning.
Morning.
I think so many of us use Google in one way or another to search for something every day, don't we? How big a moment is this? How big a change is it for all of us?
Well, it's actually huge. It's a huge change. You might not feel it straight away, but it is a huge change. And the reason being, if you think about it like, give you a metaphor for it, it's a bit like if you're going to the internet and it's a bit like going to the library, let's say, and you go to the librarian and you say, I want to find out about this. And the person says, I've got 10,000 books and here are the top 10. And you read through the books. But now what it's really going to be doing is the librarian becomes the kind of sage of all knowledge powered by artificial intelligence and says, hey, don't you worry about reading those books. Here are the answers anyway. So you don't have to go to the websites. And of course, that fundamentally changes internet itself, but also digital marketing. Think about the websites that are actually powered or their revenues there because people go to those sites. What they found when Google brings in AI mode, it's something like 80% of that traffic doesn't go to those websites. So this massively changes things like publishers, newspaper sites, everything. It's a massive change. Everyone stays on Google, basically.
How, then, do we know what to believe?
Well, this is a great question. And my parents used to say exactly the same about SEO, search engine optimization. Is it the people who are top of Google? Are they good at search engine optimization? Or is it true? Of course, that's a slightly deep thing for right now. But the reality is we won't know with AI because the AI algorithm can be tweaked. You know, remember, SEO itself would be hard to kind of tweak. You tweak the algorithm, but you can't fudge the whole thing of the internet. There's too much there. But with AI can then pick exactly what it wants you to know. Now, this is the exciting part, though, and this is the plus point of it, is that if the AI knows about you as well, and Google does because it goes into Gmail, it'll go into Calendar, it'll go into all these things, you can then have this kind of concierge style. So actually, the AI might become extremely useful for work, and even for you personally. Let's say, for example, you were thinking, I want to book a holiday. It might know that you were talking about going to Italy. It might know that you have a child. It might know what place. It might even be able to guess what place it thinks you'd really love to go, and then do all that behind the scenes before it gives you the results. So it's actually quite exciting for consumers.
See, I was scared about AI. Now I'm
just
scared about Dan because I am thinking about going to Italy. You're inside my head as well as Google. In terms of knowing what to do there, and so we get this summary of the answer to our question. What do we all do then to check whether it's true, whether it is correct?
Well, I would definitely start clicking on those links, just like you would do if you were going on websites, right? Back in the day, and I used to have to tell my parents that, so those top clicks were not organic search; they were pay-per-click. Well, now it's going to be AI first, then most probably the advertising, then the organic searches.
So you'll still get those options to dig a bit deeper.
I think you have to anyway, and the links will be there. It's just you might not have like 100 or 1,000, but let's be fair, who really went to the second or third page of Google? The other exciting thing is that Google can now do with AI mode, because it's multimodal. Without getting too geeky, it means you can start using images. But imagine if you had an Android phone, you've got all those photos of you, it means that you can start trying on different clothing because it will know what you look like. So the generative AI could say, that's a great suit, for example, and then you could then choose different colours, etc., using the AI. Now, of course, think about that from an e-commerce point of view. That's why it changes all of digital marketing. You might not have to go to the site anymore. Google might control the whole conversation and all of that moment. So really think about how powerful Google's become in this moment, which, of course, is why they want to roll it out.
So it could be selling us stuff.
I think it fundamentally will, because remember, the internet, unless you are buying a product on the internet, you are the product on the internet, right? Remember, it's there to make money. Yeah. So pay-per-click advertising paid for the so-called free internet. Well, AI will be free, but of course it'll persuade you into doing certain things. And wouldn't it be fun if it started persuading you to go to a certain place in Italy because it had certain deals behind the scenes which you never knew because you never went to the website? It might get you the best deal, but it actually might get you the best deal for Google. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And Zoe was explaining in her piece that there have been some classic examples, haven't there, of where AI has got it wrong and suggested things and come up with answers that are not true. Is the hope, Google's hope, technology's hope, that in time that will happen less and less and less as it gets more intelligent?
Yeah, I think this is the whole thing about artificial intelligence, isn't it? Artificial intelligence right now we're in the fifth industrial revolution, and it's amazing what it can do, but it doesn't mean it's infallible. There are hallucinations, as they call them, but they're getting less and less and less. You've got to remember that Google's had this plan for more than a decade. They bought DeepMind from Demis for, I think, 488 million, like 10 or 11 years ago. 5 years ago, the CEO said, we are no longer a search engine, we're a knowledge engine, an AI company. So behind the scenes, you've got an awful lot of data that's making sure this is going to get better and better and better. It's actually a really exciting time. It's just whether, do we really want just one or two companies having all that power and all that information and being the gatekeeper? I suppose only time will tell.
Dan, brilliantly explained as ever. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for coming in.